the 2026 Modern Classic, and we have everything here.
Porsches, Ferraris, Lamborghinis and Mercedes.
And this year we are celebrating the legacy of Ratan Tata's cars, his eclectic collection of cars. We're celebrating the V10 engine in many of its guises and loads more. So stay with us.
Now first up, let's take a look at some of Ratan Tata's cars. And get some insights from someone who knew him and his cars really well.
Possibly the biggest highlight at the Modern Classic Rally 2026 is Ratan Tata's car collection. This is really a tribute to Ratan Tata that we are doing now. We knew that this giant of industry really loved cars, and he really cared for them, and you can see how well maintained they are. Bit of an eclectic collection. One of his favorites was the California, this Ferrari California over here, a Pontiac Firebird, Chevrolet Corvette, and of course the Lincoln Continental as well. Lincoln Continental has a bit of a story. This is the one that actually was refurbished and gifted to him by Jerry McGovern, JLR's celebrated designer, and he loved American cars. And you can see that, you know, in the cars over here. Really, this Corvette, the C4, not really seen anywhere. Even the Firebird, again, this is Mr. Tata got this practically new and he's kept it like new. And the California, again, this has a story. This is the car which I think when he was very closely associated with Fiat, in fact, he was on the board of Fiat, his good friend Luca di Montezemolo got him this car. And in fact, there's a story of there was a bit of a scratch on the dashboard, and he complained to Luca about it, and Luca sent him an entirely new dashboard all the way from Italy, which he got fitted over here. What you'll notice is that these cars are all left-hand drive. This is one of the quirks Mr. Tata had. He loved all his cars to be left-hand drive. Really didn't know why. Possibly because he lived in the US a lot and he was used to left-hand drive cars, and of course all American cars are also left-hand drive. So really this is just a sample of his collection, and I think this has given a lot of joy to the showgoers, and we're really thankful to his family for allowing us to display these cars here.
Up next, a whole bunch of Ferraris, many of them belonging to Johan Punawala.
Now in pole position right up front, a whole load of Ferraris, and 5 of these here belong to Johan Punawala. This one, the 430, that an absolute favorite of mine, the 12-cylinder F12. And Ferrari's always had a 12-cylinder in their lineup, a front-engine 12-cylinder. And this one is probably one of the most sublime engines, massive horsepower, crazy performance, and wow. I think we'll take a look at this engine a bit later. But here, 2 specials as well. This one is a 488. That's the 458 Aperta. This one, the naturally aspirated one. That one, the turbocharged one. And this again is another icon which is only going to get more and more expensive as the time goes on. Fantastic handling, incredible V8 that revs to 9,000 RPM, track-like handling, and wow, to complete this row, another 458, and of course, finally, Lamborghini's naturally aspirated V10 in probably its last guise.
The Portofino, the second car in the lineup, of course, is the one that evolved from the California. Now for some V10 engine cars.
Now this year we also celebrate the V10 engine, and that was an engine brought to prominence by Formula One. Not as large as a V12, but still very powerful and responsive. It was an engine that won a lot of Formula One championships, and here right up front is the first one. This is the Dodge Viper, of course, the 8-litre engine. Now people thought this engine, because of the size, came from a truck and it was heavy. Not really. This engine actually was redesigned by Lamborghini for Dodge and Chrysler, because Dodge and Chrysler owned Lamborghini at the time, and they made it into a real sports car engine. They transformed it. Up next, another V10, and that was actually built by Audi in Hungary, designed for 2 brands, for Audi and, as we see later, for Lamborghini. The Gallardo had it, not just these R8s. And Lamborghini's V10 was higher revving, more powerful, and of course had a louder exhaust. And we can see it here in its final form, this one putting out 640 horsepower of naturally aspirated brilliance.
Interesting fact, well, Ferrari won 5 drivers and 6 constructors championships with V10 engines. It never produced a road car with one, at least not yet.
Now, if you're a Porsche fan and especially a 911 fan, take a look at this pair. Both these, the SCs, they're the G-body cars, and this one is a bit special. It's a Targa. Look at the glass at the back. That makes it different. Of course, Targa was named after Targa Florio race. This one is a coupe, and here we have the 993. That's the last air-cooled version. Porsche's Flat 6 was air-cooled for years and years until they went to the water-cooled engine. And this one is considered the modern classic today that people are all looking at. It's at a great price and it's sure to go up in value. That's the 997. Beautiful engine, crisp, quick, great handling, and modern enough to enjoy every day. And what you can also observe here, even from this 997 to the 993 and back to this G-body, is just how compact and tiny this car is. It's the size of a Lotus Elise.
The G-body 911 in fact is narrower and has a shorter wheelbase than even the Lotus Elise. Now let's hear some of those Flat 6 engines. What makes Lotus's sports cars so special? The lightweight, compact bodies.
Now, designed in 1997, this looks like a 20s dragster, and of course this is the Plymouth Prowler. And of course, I don't have to tell you, such a different design, what a face. Look at these bumpers, A-arm suspension, you can see the wheels are separated from the body, super looking. And of course, this car also very different in many ways. The front wheels are 17 inches, the rear 20 inches, just to give that dragster look.
Up next, Toyota's Origins. Well, sort of.
Now, isn't this pair gorgeous? These are early Land Cruisers, not the first ones. That was the FJ20. This one is the FJ40, of course with some upgraded lights and logos. And that's the 43, the slightly longer wheelbase one. Toyota started with these vehicles. So many companies in Japan started making either Jeep replicas like Mitsubishi or all new off-roaders. And Toyota first line were these. Look at these chunky lights. I think these were added for US regulations. And Toyota gave these vehicles large engines very often. These had a 4.2 litre that gave them great off-road traction and torque. These vehicles also were pretty basic. You can see clips on the bonnet. That's because they didn't even have a bonnet release at the time. But of course, in true Toyota tradition, bulletproof reliability, they last and they were great off-road. Now right next to them, these are the 80 series. They're the big, heavy, comfortable, a lot of them with V8s, great traction, much heavier and larger, but of course also bulletproof reliability, vehicles that can last and take you all over, off-road, on-road in comfort. Really iconic set right here, early Land Cruisers and probably the icon. And another thing, check these clips and rubbers out on both vehicles and there so that you can bring this windscreen down from here, the hinge, the big hinge here, and fasten it.
And here's something unique, something so basic, it just makes you smile.
And check out these doors, they're canvas. Talk about health and safety. And that here is a window system. It's not a winder, it's a slider. You can adjust it to 3 levels. Also check that out. I love this old Toyota logo. Now stunning display from JLR here. Range Rovers, Land Rovers, Defenders, XKs, E-Types all together. Wow, the whole company, the whole history. Now this gorgeous, voluptuous beast is probably where the whole Jaguar story started. Well, of course it started earlier, but this was the inflection point. The XK120, 120 miles an hour, the fastest car in the world at the time. And of course that great XK engine there, twin cam, twin SU carburetors, plenty of power, 3.4 liters. And as we go ahead, this engine was carried into the E-Type, but here we have 3 12-cylinder E-Types, pretty rare. This one, the convertibles and the hardtop with that lovely door at the back. And this is where it all started 55 years ago. A 2-door, a car built for rich farmers, for people who'd like to drive on their farm, drive across their farm.
Check out that door handle and the sunken in fuel cap. And of course, that blacked out C-pillar that gives it just so much character.
Beautifully designed, great lines, and you can see the lines carried forward. Unique part is this one was a V8 and so is that. That's the new SV.
Also right alongside some early Range Rovers, still Gen 1 cars. Because this was built on the two-door platform, they had to make those rear doors fit. And right next to it, Land Rover's other icon, the Defender, evolved from the first Land Rovers. And here are another pair of really significant Porsches.
Now a couple of other Porsches that are so important for its history, that's the 944 4-cylinder rear transaxle front engine, but great handling and performance. And this one is a personal favorite of mine. That's when the mid-engine came from the Boxster to the Cayman, and that's an early Cayman. The Cayman is just sublime to drive, compact, small, mid-engine, just like these Lotuses.
And how many iconic BMWs can you see, all lined up cheek to jowl? We even had a couple of Z3s and Z4s, the evolution of BMW's Roadster. Now for some muscle.
And sometimes at events like these, it's the small details you pick up and see that are really fun and interesting. Look at this Pontiac Le Mans and look at that badge there, 350. Of course, 350 is because of 350 cubic inches for the big V8 up front. And sometimes you just want to look at parts of these cars which are just gorgeous. Like, of course, that screaming bird on the bonnet, also called the chicken. And wow, look at this brushed aluminum dash and the dials. Crazy beautiful. And I love that shifter. It's a hearse. But what I really like also is the rear of this car, the way it's chopped.
In this year's muscle car and American icon lineup, what stood out was a blue Thunderbird and several delicious Mustangs. MG2 were represented by their most iconic car, the MGB. We had two of them. And here's something pretty unforgettable from Audi.
And this is one you can easily walk past and miss. Check this out. Look at those wheel arches. This is RS4 and small car, four-wheel drive and V8 up front. And this one is a manual. Come check that out. And that's how it's packaged, really tight packaging. As you can see, no space to put your hand in, but it's a proper 4.2 V8.
We even had Honda's S2000 with its 9,000 RPM redline, the first production car to achieve that number. Also from Honda, the diminutive Beat and Suzuki's equally small Cappuccino. These are Japanese K cars, but they are also sports cars. And while we're talking compact cars with character, let's not forget the Abarth 695 Tributo Ferrari. The most lusted after cars, however, were the Mercedes lineup, the SLs. One better than the other. 107s, 129s, just a delicious lineup. And Mercedes also celebrated 140 years of the motor car. They put up a fantastic art installation with a 190 SL and the current SL on a banking. It looked pretty cool. We even had a rare Wrangler YJ, the first Wrangler, of course, which evolved from the CJs. And here's another rare Jeep off-roader which was actually manufactured in India.
Now these were pickups or four-wheel drive vehicles you could see a lot back in the day. They were made by Mahindra, but they're actually Jeeps. They're called FCs. If you can see on the badge right here, it's called FC or forward control, and that's because the cab was put right in front, but the chassis was similar to what was used in other Jeep vehicles. Interesting looking front. Must take a look at that.
Wow, what a lineup. We asked Curator Perseus Bandrawala how this year's show was different.
I think one thing that is very different about this year's show is every year when we did the show, people asked us what a modern classic is, how do you define a modern classic, and what has really changed now is that the whole country already knows what a modern classic is, and it has become the toast of the car enthusiast community. Everyone's talking about modern classics. We get tagged daily from all over the country. So I think this really is the big game changer here. So this year we have more supercars, we have more muscle cars, we have more European sports cars. I think the whole show has just overall grown this year, and I think that is the biggest statement that we are making. We also have a record crowd this year. So in every way the show has grown. We have a lot of cars that have been driven down from out of Mumbai, from all over the country, and I'm particularly very proud of the European sports cars that are here, a lot more muscle cars that have come here this year, and of course we also have the 80s supercars and 80s sports cars which are lined up. So I think that really makes it a game changer, and I'm happy about it.
After the display on Saturday and a gala evening for participants, the field of 140 cars prepared to set out for a long drive. The route from the Grand Hyatt in Kalina to Mumbai's Coastal Road. And this year we were even joined by members from the supercar route. Have to tell you, the crowds outside the event really enjoyed seeing the cars setting off, cheering every car as it passed by. Further up on the coastal road, cars got a chance to really stretch their legs and open out their engines. And the drive proved special, with the sea on one side and Mumbai flashing past on the left. The best bit? All the waves and smiles from the youngsters and kids. It's all about passing on the passion after all, sharing our love of cars and allowing the younger generation to also participate. Car enthusiasts and car lovers, some of them displaying their cars, came from all over India. And we had some real icons amongst the crowd as well. Did you know Jackie Shroff was a car nut?
Did you ever think we'd have so many cars in Mumbai?
I had no idea. I really had no idea.
Really?
But so it's a pleasure to see such lovely cars out here, man.
Yeah.
Those are the sweetest little darling, sweetest little baby. So sweet. So cute.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Bapu.
I know.
Wow.
When
Oof. Wow. Alfa Romeo. Here for just this.
So pretty, yeah.
And now let's hear from a bunch of owners who took the effort and expense to bring their cars to display them here. A massive thank you to all of them.
Hi, Ryan Oberoi. This is my 2001 Subaru WRX STI ProDrive JDM, one of 300 I believe that's been made in the ProDrive tuning. Drove this down in from Bangalore, and here with this wonderful event, lots of lovely cars, thanks to Persis.
Hi, I'm Karan Rajshah. This is my Evo 8. I bought it in UK, then got it to Dubai, and then finally imported it here to India. It's running a different engine. It's running an Evo 9 engine. The brakes have been upgraded. And the only reason I really like the car is because it's an all-wheel drive, rally-bred car, and it's great to drive around traffic, through traffic, windy roads. Very entertaining. People think it's just a CDR, but when they come next to me, they realize there was a mistake.
I'm Johan Daruwala. This is my E46 330 CI manual, and being a manual, it's a fun car to drive, and we look forward for this event every year, and this is the first time we've got this car to the event, but hopefully many more to come.
My name is Samit Hede. I am the owner of this Range Rover Classic. This is an interesting car. This was acquired by my father's very close friend, Mr. Shashi Roya, the late chairman of the SR Group, who imported it directly from the UK. It was, I think, registered in the year 1994 and has been in India ever since. It was fully restored by him about 3 or 4 years ago. In fact, he went to the length of bringing body panels on his private jet just to have it restored. After full restoration, he gifted it to my dad because he knows my dad is a great collector of classic cars. He's been with us ever since. We've owned this car for about 4 years, and it's one of the late editions of the first generation Range Rover. It's one of the few cars to have a factory fitted air conditioner in the classic version, which is quite peculiar because I think when the car was designed, it didn't have a factory fitted air conditioning system, so it looks quite odd. But that's the way Land Rover made it at the time.
Hi, it's amazing to be here. It's amazing to have my cars over here amongst so many beautiful vehicles. I am Sahir Berry and I am the owner of these two beautiful Porsches. Really happy to have been invited to be here and display some pieces of my love. And yes, basically happy to be here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vaibhav Nair. This is my Porsche 944. We've had the pleasure of driving around Mumbai prior to the event and we've had a great time. Thanks for having us over. It's been a pleasure. So it feels great to be a part of the community. We've been wanting to come for a couple of years. We've been talking to Perseus. Last year also we were supposed to come, but somehow the car wasn't ready. It wasn't perfect how we wanted it to be. So we're happy that we could make it this year and in time for the event. It's been a great experience and we're definitely looking forward to the drive tomorrow.
My name's Shanay and I'm here with my 500 SL R129 and the successor to the R107, real mechanically solid, came with some amazing innovations like the roll bar and other than the safety innovations, it's one banger of a V8.
Hi, this is ABhijeet and for the third time for the Modern Classic Rally, we have got our Saab 9.3 convertible. And looking at the response right now, it's looking amazing.
Hi, this is Prasad Nagarkar. This is the Rolls-Royce Drophead Phantom, which I've brought here for the day. And it's a beautiful sunny morning and we are ready for the drive. All the beautiful cars which are readily available here. Insane collection. I've been looking whole day for all these cars and it's such a beautiful, it's feeling like as if we are standing in between the gems. Yeah, so it's a pleasure to have all these cars along and have a drive along in Mumbai. I've been associated with Autocar for ages and this is such a beautiful morning which I'm able to witness, and that's all. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Mrityunjay and this is my 1990 Mazda MX-5, also known as the Miata in the US. So this is probably the third Miata that I've owned, and prior to this I had one of these when I was a student in the US, and I think one of my fondest memories of driving this car was when we drove from where I was studying into the snow mountains, into Reno, and it was completely snowed in, and while a lot of big cars were sliding around, this little thing was absolutely fantastic in the snow. It was really cold, but it was the most memorable drive I've ever done in one of these. It's fantastic. I think every year we are seeing, a lot of improvement. We're seeing nicer cars. I don't know where they pull these out from, but it's just incredible to see. So good job, guys. Yeah.
My name is Mohit Shigani. I'm here at this display of beautiful cars over here. This is my car, the Ferrari 488 GTB. I bought this car in 2022. It's a 2017 car. These V8s were launched by Ferrari by the end of 2015 as the first V8 platform that they had after a long time with the turbos. It's a beautiful car. I bought it in yellow, very different from the normal reds over here, which makes it stand out. I like driving the car typically intercity because we get highways, we get open highways, and I've done a few of these drives with Ferrari. From Bangalore to Hampi, and then we did it in Rajasthan.
Hi, I'm Amal Tanna from Mumbai. I'm presenting a 1999 Plymouth Prowler. It's a one-year-only purple color, originally 700-mile run car, one of one in India. And it's a great car, and it's great to be presenting the car and to get such a phenomenal set of some of the best modern classic cars in the country, and iconic cars from around continents that made a mark in history or continue to make a mark in history.
Hi, my name is Jatin Patel. This is my car. It's a 1989 W124 300E, and I'm here with this car and a lot of other cars that we have restored at this Modern Classic Car Rally 2026. And it's fantastic to see all these cars under one roof, which otherwise it's not possible to see on a daily basis.
Hi, my name is Alan Almeida, and we restore classic and vintage cars at Mr. Goenka's restoration facility. Today, apart from a few other cars, I got the 560 SL. I mean, you can't go wrong with one of these V8s. They are the biggest that they had. And apart from that, this is a convertible, so you can always have the top down, you can have the soft top up. So early mornings on a Sunday, nothing better than knowing that you have power, that you can also have the wind in your hair, and then when you want to go through traffic, you have the hard top back on with AC. So I love driving her, and she's very responsive. She's pretty much a daily driver these days. and automatic, so our Bombay traffic also works. And it's very rare, there are very few in the country, very few 560s, and this is one of them.
A big thank you to our sponsors who helped make this possible.
Well, this is our second year we've been associated with the Autocar Modern Classic Rally. I think we, as a company which eats, sleeps, drinks cars, for us, this is a great association. And Autocar is synonymous with journalism of auto, and car finance is something that we are synonymous in Kotak Prime.
It's one thing to really read about your brand's heritage and legacy and its deep-rooted association with the automobile world. These cars have inspired us to really form our top-time classic car collection, and it's amazing to see how the upholstery from the car has been imbibed into our watch strap, and the platform itself really blends well with our brand, and it's fantastic to see these classic beauties on display. And it's literally the timelessness of these cars that is so charming, and it's wonderful to be here.
Never been to one of Autocar India's modern classic rallies before? Never seen a sea of delicious and desirable cars all lined up? If you've made it this far in the video, we're sure you're missing something special. Make sure you're there the next time around.